Hello, welcome to Bar West / Nathan's Kitchen. Today we are joined by special guest, Chef Josh, good friend of mine. He made the greatest pasta I've ever had, so we're gonna make some pasta for you today to enjoy. Also used to work with him at Oak Hill Post, and now he works for Scratch & Company, one of Pittsburgh's top 25 restaurants. Josh.
Thank you.
Josh, can you tell us a little bit about what we're making today?
Yeah, so in my spare time, I write different recipes and stuff down, and this is something I've been floating around. So, yeah, freestyling today.
Freestyling.
How it's going. So we're making two types of pasta today. We're going to make a garganelli, which is a short noodle, and we're going to make a linguine for our long noodle. And going with that, we're going to make a lemon Pernod cream sauce. And we're going to top with all kinds of herbs. We got some celery here. We have fennel, and it'll be a really nice wintry dish. All right. So there's two kinds of flour we're going to use today. We're going to use double O pasta flour, and we're going to use this rough, coarse semolina. So semolina is like this, almost looks like cornmeal. We're going to use that to insulate our pasta, keep it from sticking together once it's finished. And this is what we're mainly going to use here, is this stuff. The double O just means it's much more fine than, say, like all-purpose flour. So, and then we bought really nice eggs at the store today. We got farm fresh
eggs, baby.
So we're gonna make a double batch of this recipe. We're gonna use 6 eggs total, 4 cups of flour to start.
Spot for the eggs.
Make them well. But yeah, my first job was a dishwasher at a country club, and they would actually do pasta night on Wednesdays. Coincidentally, thank you, chef. Whoa. And I would go out and I'd wash the guys' pots and pans. His name was Chris, who's from New York City. And we're just gonna beat these together and slowly incorporate the flour. And you just want to get the eggs into a paste-like consistency. Just have some patience here. But yeah, he was from New York. He was a very talented chef, and he would cook for about 200 people more or less by himself, out on the floor in front of people. And I'd wash his pots and pans. And one day I just got brave enough and jumped in.
Nice.
And from then on, I was kind of the green cook where, I would do the carving station on Sundays, carving prime rib or tenderloin or whatever, stuff that like other cooks didn't want to do, and I was a prep cook and stuff. So when I was a little kid, I used to cook with my grandma all the time. And then once you kind of get this doughy consistency here, we'll just
Going hands in.
Yep.
Sick.
And don't be afraid, just jump into it. Just start mashing. A great resource, and I actually have the book, I highly recommend it, is it's a YouTube channel called Pasta Grannies, which they essentially just go to Italy and film grandmas making pasta all the time. And how a lot of them, they were taught by their mothers and so on. And so a lot of what I've learned was actually from there as well. Now that the dough is forming here, I'm pulling it up and pushing in. Turning it, pulling up, push. Pushing with the base of your hand. And we will need for...
Yeah, let me know.
About 10 minutes. Thank you. how smooth that is?
Oh yeah. It's like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So it's
Play-Doh
yeah,
consistency.
Play-Doh consistency.
Yeah, that's.
And it bounces, so we can see the elasticity we've built. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, that elasticity, baby.
So it's the resting time. You can use a towel. We're gonna use some plastic wrap. And you want to rest your dough for at least 15 minutes. Any longer, it will be fine. It won't change the dough. Any shorter, you will not get dough that's easy to work with. So, all right, so we're gonna chop this up first, and then we're gonna work on our sauce while this is resting. So we're gonna be using Pernod, which is a nice Anish liqueur. You were saying it tastes like sweeter absinthe, right?
It does taste like sweeter absinthe. Yeah.
So we're just gonna cut the fennel in half and cut a triangle out for the core. Don't want to go too deep. You can see where the core is right here. We're just gonna saute it up with our pasta today. And we picked our fronds and threw our stems away. We'll use these for garnish. Celery. Celery, the way we'll prep this is we'll peel our celery. So we'll break off the end and we'll get these stringy pieces that are really like my thing I hate most about celery. So that's why I'm doing this. If you happen to get some celery that you can't peel like that, if you just take a vegetable peeler, you can easily just peel some of that off. So everyone kind of holds their knife and stuff different, but kind of going for like about a 45-degree angle. Look at those knife skills.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little bit of garlic two ways to be fancy. So we're gonna mince some. If you have a microplane, that'll make it a lot easier. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of sort through this for some nice, like displayed garlic that's unblemished. And this other stuff, if it's blemished, we'll just cut it off. These rough bottoms. And then we'll just run it through a microplane.
So how are you not microplaning your fingers when you're doing that?
I'm cooking for a long time.
Yeah.
Just a feel for it. If it's stuck on there, I'll just take another piece and put it on top. Yeah. Then this garlic gets left over. We'll just
mince it up.
Yep. We'll just do it by hand. And then once it kind of gets to this point, because it's so small, you can just scrape it. And it'll mash your garlic. This will just slice just very thin and nicely.
So this will be...
This is our show garlic. This will stick out on the noodle. You'll be able to see it. Now, we're gonna roll our pasta out. So this has been resting for...
At least 15?
Yeah, almost an hour now. So we'll just cut it in half and cut it in half the other way. And wrap this back up. We're gonna make linguine first. So I'm just gonna kind of shape this into a rectangle and get this set. We're using this handy dandy pasta sheeter. First thing we'll do is we'll just take a little rolling pin and we'll just try to make a size that's roughly the width of the pasta sheeter. And we'll really start to build the binding of it once we start going here. I'm going to make sure your table is nice and clean of debris. Dough will easily, very, very easily pick up anything that is on here. So I'm going to start. This one is at 1. I've used different machines that use different numbers, and it's kind of confusing. But we'll flip it, and we'll run through a couple times. And then we'll go to 2. Caught it. When Nate and I worked at Oak Hill Post, I would make tens and tens and tens of pounds of pasta every week by hand like this. And Charlie would be in the kitchen with me making biscuits while I'm making, we're at 3 now, while I'm making pasta. And every time I drop this, he would count. It'd just make me laugh. So now we'll fold it over itself. And we'll start back over. 1. We're gonna do this 3 times.
We're still on 2.
We're on 1. Yeah.
We're back to 1.
So doing this, we're just, because the pasta has such bounce back. 2. We're just going to just help build that gluten structure and that memory there.
3.
Yep. On number 3, we'll go right back to 1.
Fold it.
Yep. We'll fold it. If it doesn't want to pull, you just pinch it and push it in there. And eventually it'll catch and it'll start to do the process over again. And you hear how hard this machine is working to get started back at 1. It's because all the gluten is really building now. And as I'm rolling, might not be able to tell on camera, so I'll get a little slower, but I'm letting it pull, letting it pull, letting it pull, letting it pull. Let's see. So it's pulling this way. So I'll just slightly grab it towards myself. Not a lot, not enough to put any indents from my fingers on it, but just enough. All right. And we are on the number 4.
For clarification.
So we're out of the building phase, and now we're actually rolling the pasta out. So like I said, every machine is different. I'll probably roll out of each one about twice. And the reason we keep the machine in the middle is whenever you hold it up, you stretch and stretch and stretch it, and then you get uneven. And then you get pasta that wants to move this way or that way or whatever. When you keep it on the table, it doesn't have a chance to stretch anywhere. Then we have a nice long sheet.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Feels good, huh?
That's crazy.
Okay. So now we'll take our cutter piece. I think it's fettuccine. It looks pretty wide for linguine, but that's what we'll do. So we're gonna cut it this length, but we don't want noodles this long. So we'll just kind of guess. We'll say noodles about this long. So we'll just lightly tap it and unfold it. And now we have little guides, and we will cut ever so lightly. So we will take our semolina flour. Would you like to do the honors and sprinkle some all along this way? Yep. And we'll even leave a little pile here to work with, to grab as we need to. And then we'll just feed it in here. And it'll cut. And as it comes through, at the very end, we'll pull it. Go like this. A little bit of that.
That's just so it doesn't stick.
Yep. Just so it doesn't stick. Grab it like so. Just right in the middle. We will twist. And you end up with a nice little bundle. And then these bundles will freeze pretty nicely. So you can say, you know, 2 of those per person.
Yeah.
Freeze them. And you drop them in water and you have fresh pasta.
And repeat.
And repeat, yes. All right. Now we're moving on to our second type.
What's the name of this pasta again?
It's Garganelli.
So starting the exact same as the first
Yep.
pasta.
Do you have an atomizer?
I do have an atomizer.
Does it have water in it?
An atomizer with water in it.
Thank you. So if your pasta gets too dry, just a little bit of moisture, not much. That's why we use the atomizer.
With water in it.
Yes. It's definitely water. We'll throw a little semolina down to keep it from sticking. We'll fold it in half. We'll save this to dry. Well, we're working on this one. So, go right back to it. And it'll be fine. Ooh. So what we'll do is we will fold it in half and very lightly press to make a line. The semolina that we have on the table and with it will keep it from sticking to itself. And what we'll do is we will cut down the line ever so carefully. And then we will just eyeball squares. And when you cut up, you'll get nice shapes like so. And now I get to this point, I'll just, that there, this is just extra. So, I brought 2 boards with me today. They're 2 different widths. I like this wider one for making gnocchi, and I like this thinner one for making garganelli. So we'll use the thinner one. This is handmade out of rosewood. It's pretty nice. So we'll just take one of these guys, put it on here, and we'll just wrap it. That's it. So you just fold it over, give it a slight press, whoops, and it'll close. So even though they're not perfectly square, you just try and line up straight line. Pull this around it, press, and off. Hey, those are looking real nice.
I feel pretty confident about these.
Yeah.
These are like, I like how these are turning out. I have this. I got the technique a little bit. It's like centering your weight on it, because if not, you kind of shred the outsides.
We'll make a little bit of a roux, which is just a little, it's equal parts flour and butter, and just a pinch of salt. And we'll cook that until it's like sand. And as we're doing that, we're gonna start another pan with some oil and our minced garlic. And we'll let that start to heat up.
White wine.
Yes. All right. Now this is toasted.
Pernod, baby.
Yep. We'll do about a tablespoon because it's real strong.
Yeah.
Sorry we had to buy a whole bottle.
No, giving it to Andrew. He's gonna have a half bucket of flour and a bottle.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that looks... So, when this gets to like this consistency and it's like sandy, it's like breaking up. That's what we're looking for. All right, once we get this alcohol reduced by about half, you can taste it and see if it's boozy, and it's not. After we add our roux, get it all mixed in, keeping the heat on like a low medium. We'll start to stream in some cream. We'll leave that on a low medium heat. And as that's going on, Nate will occasionally stir that. And we'll get some of the last parts. So we'll grate some lemon. Oh yeah. All right. Start with some oil. So we'll check these real quick for an inductor. It's the only part we really need to clean. It's that. So when you look at it, you look, this one is already clean of it, but this one wasn't. It's just a tiny little mussel that stays in the scallop sometimes. So we'll season very nicely. Just a little bit of salt. We get our pan preheating. Begin to sear. Oh yeah, the Mickey hands. So right now I'm just tipping the skillet to kind of like shallow fry or slightly baste the oyster, the scallop. But you can kind of see a line starting to form on the bottom, and then gradually a different color scallop on the way up top. Oh yeah. Just set these off to the side. Now we'll begin to build the sauce in the pan. So we'll add our fennel and our celery. We'll just begin to lightly saute that and start to build some color. We'll add a generous pinch of some garlic.
Our presentation garlic.
Kind of got our veg in a nice place. We just deglaze with a little bit of the delicious Pernod that we have. And our sauce is sticking to the spoon rather nicely. We'll drop our fresh pasta in here. And we'll give it a nice stir as it drops in. So we'll add our pasta. We'll start to mix it up with our wonderful sauteed vegetables here. We'll add a ladle of the sauce. Now that it's in there, we will let it come up to a simmer and keep flipping. Add a little bit of pasta water.
We salted pasta water?
Yes,
Okay.
we did. Pretty heavily. Salty like the sea. There's no salt in the noodles. So that will season our noodle for us. Now it's time to season the sauce. We'll add a little bit of lemon zest. No seeds.
Just like that.
Just like that. Add a little fresh lemon.
All of the herbs.
This wonderful stuff here. All right. So I'm just gonna take some of this braised greens that have been cooking the whole time. So lots of fennel in this dish. Some fronds. Take up some dill. Romano and Parmesan. Just cover it with all the herbs. And that's it.
We did it!
Ah, I forgot the most important thing. The cereal scallops.
I knew.
There you go. Ever so nicely.
Ready to taste it?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope it's good.
Well.
Eek.
Tastes like bacon.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We did it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah! Popping champagne like we won the championship game.